ẹ jẹ́ mú yín ká lọ gbọ́yọ̀ kà yín ná bá a bá wá padà dé a máa tẹ̀síwájú lórí ètò àìdébí à ń lọ o.
The cleric who made this assertion on Wednesday night.
àmọ́ ẹ jẹ́ agbáyọ̀ kà yìí bá a bá dé mò ń padà bọ̀ ó ti yá.
The federal government has reportedly listed Kaduna-based publisher Tukomamu and 14 others as terrorism financiers. The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit reportedly listed the identity of the 15 entities, including 9 individuals and 6 bureau de change BDC operators and firms, according to the media. The Punch said NFRU documents showed that the Nigerian Sanctions Committee met on March 18, 2024, and specific individuals and entities were recommended for sanction following their involvement in terrorism financing. The Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, with the approval of the President, has thereupon designated the following individuals and entities to be listed on the Nigerian sanctions list. The document read in part. Among the individuals named in the document was Tuko, who is currently being tried by the federal government for allegedly aiding the terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna train in March 2022. According to the document, Mamu participated in the financing of terrorism by receiving and delivering ransom payment over the sum of $200,000 in support of ISWAP terrorists for the release of hostages of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. The document said one of the individuals is the suspected attacker of the St. Francis Catholic Church, Awọn, Ondo State on June 5, 2022, and the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, on July 5, 2022. Another was described as a member of the terrorist group Ansarul Muslimina fi Bilandishidam. The group is associated with Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. Another was identified as a senior commander of the Islamic State of West Africa Province, Okene. The agency said the individual came into limelight in 2012 as North Central Wing of Boko Haram. The group is suspected of the attacks carried out around Federal Capital Territory and the Southwest Geopolitical Zone, including the June 5, 2022 attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State. Another was described as a financial courier to ISWAP, Okene. She's responsible for the disbursement of funds to the widow's wife of the terrorist fighters of the group. The document further revealed that in accordance with Section 54 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, institutions and individuals are required to A. Immediately identify as freeze without prior notice all fund, assets, and any other economic resources belonging to the designated person and entities in your possession and report same to the Sanctions Committee. B. Report to the Sanctions Committee any asset frozen or actions taken in compliance with the prohibition requirement. C. Immediately file a suspicious transactions report to the NFRU for further analysis on the financial activities of such an individual or entity. And D. Report as a suspicious transactions report to the NFRU all cases of name matching in financial It said the freezing obligation required above shall extend to A. All funds or other assets that are owned or controlled by the designated persons and entities, and not only those that are tied to a particular act, plot, or threat of terrorism or terrorism financing. B. Those funds or other assets that are wholly or jointly owned or controlled directly or indirectly by designated persons or entities. C. The funds or other assets derived or generated from funds or other assets owned or controlled directly or indirectly by designated persons or entities. And D. Funds or other assets or persons and entities acting on behalf of or at the direction of designated persons or entities.
tó ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́gbọ́n yẹn o lẹ́nu aláyọ̀ká wa àmọ́ ajá àbálẹ̀ ni máa fi ṣe. Gumi náà jáde lẹ́yìn tí ọ̀rọ̀ jáde tí ìjọba fi ọ̀rọ̀ léde tán. Gumi náà wá jáde ó sọ̀rọ̀ o kí lóhun tó sọ nínú fọ́nrán yìí ẹ̀já lọ gbọ́ bá padà dé ká mọ̀ bí tó kùtà fẹ́ fi àdágún lórí ètò tòní ó ti yá.
Controversial Islamic scholar Sheikh Ahmed Gumi has claimed that no Nigerian security agency has the right to declare anyone as being a terrorist financier. The cleric who made this assertion on Wednesday night when he appeared on X space held by Daily Trust added that there was no justification for the arrest of Malam Tuko, a Kaduna-based publisher, and others over suspicions of sponsoring terrorist activities in the country. He said the action taken by Nigerian security operatives could also be tagged as an act of terrorism. Mamu has been in custody of the Department of State Services since he was arrested in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, in September 2022. The key negotiator between bandits and the passengers kidnapped off a Kaduna-bound train in March 2022 was picked up with his family members on his way to Saudi Arabia for a smaller Hajj. The Nigerian government later announced that Mamu and 14 others had been suspected of being terrorist financiers. Reacting to this development, Gumi said such a pronouncement is only within the jurisdiction of a court of law and that no agency is legally authorized to make such a pronouncement. Gumi stated that what occurred between Mamu and the security agency was a clear example of misunderstanding, but said he did not want to comment on it yet because the case was before the court. He said, "Mamu's case is in the court. Let's wait to hear from the court. It's wrong to resort to media trial. Let's wait for the court to state if he is a financier or not. I think if he is acquitted, he has a strong case to make on libel. Who declares someone a terrorist financier? Is it the court of law or a security agency? Security agency has no right to declare anyone a terrorist financier. The case is already in court, so why are they judging him on the pages of the newspaper? Once a case is in court, you allow the court to decide." When asked to clear his name since some Nigerians has been pointing accusing fingers at him too, Gumi said, "I'm a public figure. Many people come to me, the good, the bad, the ugly. As a preacher, I cannot send anybody away, no matter how bad. If you ask, especially pastors, armed robbers, come to them and confess, but they cannot still take them to the authorities. What I know of Mamu and his arrest is a misunderstanding between him and the committee that was supposed to deal with the release of some victims. But since the case is in court, we hope the courts will be just to him. This is what we wanted all along. Take him to court instead of incarcerating someone and leveling phantom allegations against him. Bring your proofs, and if Mamu is found guilty, he should have full-fledged punishment. But as of what I know, let's wait for the court. Take him to court to face trial. Keeping him in custody despite being a family man was just to intimidate him. This intimidation is also terrorism. Arresting people unjustly is also terrorism, just like the terrorists do by going to somebody's house to kidnap him. How can we continue in this situation under a government that is about to wind up? Our hope is for them to finish successfully, not in a bad light. It's not about Tuko. You all know that whenever they arrest innocent people, I always talk. Not to talk of someone that I know, and I'm only advising the government to release him so that we can apologize to him to forget what happened." Controversial Islam.